If you are learning a new language but always find yourself confused about pronunciation, don't worry. IPA can help you solve this problem. IPA stands for the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is a system of phonetic notation created by the International Phonetic Association. Its purpose is to provide a standardized representation of the sounds of all languages in the world. Therefore, IPA can represent not only English but also the pronunciations of nearly all languages, such as Japanese and French, among others. Trust me, if you want to achieve accurate pronunciation, you really need to master this tool called IPA. First, let's take a look at a cross-section of the human vocal apparatus. When you produce sounds, if the airflow passes through the mouth without any obstruction, the sounds produced are called vowels. The specific process involves the vibration of the vocal cords, where airflow from the lungs strikes the vocal cords at the glottis, causing them to vibrate uniformly. The airflow passes unobstructed through the mouth and nasal cavity, and then by adjusting the position of your tongue and lips, you can produce different timbres of sound. I know at this point some of you might be asking, what if there is an obstruction when producing sounds? That would be consonants. However, we won't discuss consonants in this episode. Let's first clarify vowels. To accurately study vowels, we need to define three axes: height, backness, and roundness. You can take the position of the symbol as the articulation position of the tongue, where the horizontal axis represents the degree of backness in pronunciation, and the vertical axis represents height. Roundness is typically represented by placing two sounds side by side. The sound on the left is unrounded, while that on the right is rounded. As you can see, this forms a trapezoid shape. This trapezoid is referred to as vowel space. Let's first take a look at height. The higher up you go, the closer your mouth becomes. Therefore, you can see that E is positioned at the topmost point. Generally, 4 lines are used to distinguish levels of closure: close, mid, and open. The horizontal axis represents backness, indicating the front-back position of the tongue, from left to right, front, central, and back. Some of you may notice why there are 2 slanted lines on the vertical axis. Why does it form a trapezoid? This is because when the jaw opens wider, it simultaneously retracts inward. Thus, vowel space appears as a trapezoid. We can identify 2 extremes to help with understanding. The close front unrounded vowel E, as in E in C, is located at the upper left corner of the chart, while open back rounded vowel R, as in R in father, is located at the lower right corner. Now let's move on to the simplest 5 vowel system, Japanese and Spanish. Before we formally start explaining this system, I must emphasize one point. Although we have systematic and scientific methods to study pronunciation, there is no such thing as an absolute standard pronunciation. The concept of absolute standard is merely theoretical. Even within the same language, pronunciations can vary significantly across different regions, even within different areas in the same city. For example, British English and American English have noticeable differences in pronunciation. Moreover, even within the United States itself, accents can differ between regions such as New England and the West Coast. Even if you're in New York City, pronunciations in Manhattan and Brooklyn may not be identical. Each individual will have a unique way of pronouncing words. Let's take a look at IPA's vowel space. While it may seem precise to mark each point on a chart, it's essential to recognize that these points exist within a fuzzy area. The position of phonetic symbols is less like a fixed point and more like an electron orbit with fuzzy boundaries around. There are boundaries that are not strictly defined. On the one hand, we need tools like IPA to clarify pronunciation. On the other hand, it's crucial not to get too caught up in seeking absolute correct, because absolute correct is merely a concept that does not exist in reality. Language is not dead knowledge, it's practical usage in real life. As long as mutual understanding and communication are achieved, that's what truly matters. Returning to our topic, currently, one of the simplest vowel systems consists of 5 vowels found in languages like Japanese and Spanish. Japanese and Spanish share 4 vowels in common. Only one vowel, oo, differs between them. Let's first look at those 4 shared vowels. You can also feel how this same phonetic symbol varies between Japanese and Spanish pronunciations.
朝、朝、ありがとう、ありがとう。agua、agua。casa、casa。madre、madre。 駅駅鉛筆鉛筆笑顔笑顔ベベベベメサメサレチェレチェ音音おかしいおかしいお茶お茶ロコロコsol sol rojo rojo 犬犬家家いちごいちごししlibro libro amigo amigo.
Finally, we have the vowel u, which differs slightly between Japanese and Spanish. In Japanese, it is pronounced as an unrounded vowel, represented by the IPA symbol. In contrast, in Spanish, it's a rounded vowel and slightly more close and backward, represented by the IPA symbol u. Now, let's listen to how their pronunciations differ.
Futuro futuro luna luna azul azul 海海うさぎうさぎ歌歌
Now, we can look at another language also suitable for anchoring, Italian. And Italian has 7 vowels, so how does it differ from Spanish? Italian introduces 2 more vowels. First, it replaces the mid-vowel a with open mid and closed mid variants. Similarly, the mid-vowel o is replaced with its corresponding open mid and close mid forms. You can listen to the following recordings to feel the difference.
Vero. Vero. Rete. Rete. Sera. Sera. Cioè. Cioè. Festa. Festa. Ombra. Ombra. Sopra. Sopra. Forno. Forno. Cosa? Cosa? Però. Però. Poco. Poco.
It's important to note that for native speakers, open mid and close mid vowels sound completely different. If your own language doesn't have such fine distinctions, you'll need to practice more. Now let's examine the vowel space of French. Wow, it suddenly becomes much more complex. Therefore, we won't delve into the details in this video. Instead, we will cover it in a separate French course later on. The same goes for English and German. However, you can take a quick look at their vowel spaces to get an intuitive sense. We are currently releasing a series of courses for different language learning, and we'll update the links in the video description or in a pinned comment. The next video will cover IPA consonants. If you're interested, welcome to subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. We will do our best to respond to each one. We also encourage you to share your insights and experiences during your learning process. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you could give us a thumbs up. See you next time. Bye.